My name is Dame Dash, and this is OG Stories, told by the OGs themselves. There's no doubt that George Valdez is one of the more serious OGs that I know. Number one, the movie Scarface was about him. He was the character that it was based on. He's Cuban, but he ran the Colombian cartel at a very young age. He had beef with Pablo Escobar. He got tortured by Noriega because he wouldn't tell for about a month. He also really had a tiger, just like Tony Montana. The first time I saw him was in the movie Cocaine Cowboys on Netflix. He was the plug's plug. And the first thing I noticed was that he had on really good suits. I could tell by the shoulders. I was actually trained on Savile Row in London in the art of making suits. But then I noticed his swag, his mannerisms, and I really liked his perspective. It was almost familiar. And a couple of years later, through a mutual friend, I was introduced to him by a phone call, and the first thing he said to me was, "I like the way you do things. If you have a problem with someone, you want to talk to them man to man. You want to look them in their eye." When I had an issue with Pablo, I called him and we worked it out. From there, I knew that we were cut from the same cloth. And we immediately became friends, almost in a family way. There's so many similarities to the way we live our lives and our perspectives on things. We both love our families. I've met his family and he's met mine. That's all we really care about. And he's learned from every single experience that he's gone through. What he does now is he writes books and donates all the money to prison reform. And he goes to the jails and talks to people. He really truly tries to help. And it seems like today he's just fighting for love. To me, he's a walking movie. And in my life, in my paid in full, Harlem was flooded with cocaine. But where did it come from? It came from Colombia. And 9 times out of 10, if you was getting money in Harlem, selling any kind of cocaine, it probably came from George Valdez. At the end of the day, every time I talk to George Valdez, I learn something. I consider him a brother, an older brother, of course, an OG. And I know that you will too. This is George Valdez OG Stories.
Yeah, I'm George Valdez. If it was up to me, I would have just continued to be in the oblivion. The group that I became part of, and I'll go back, I was a nerd, a young kid.
What year is this?
So I came from Cuba in '66 at the age of 10. I was 10 years old. And my mother got left behind. We were one of the richest families in Cuba. Came to the United States to 11 of us live in a 1-bedroom apartment, Little Havana. And literally writing down what time we were gonna take a piss because it was 11 of us going to work school with 1 bathroom. We came from Cuba because my mom was very, very religious. She's like, you know, communism's stupid, you know, God is everything, so God was everything for her. Well, we came to the United States, she was left behind. And we literally came from being multi-millionaires to going hungry. I mean, I would have 2 raw eggs in the morning with a powdered milk and no lunch. Until dinner time, we have rice and beans.
So all the money stayed in Cuba?
All the money was left behind. My dad came to clean toilets for Jackson Byron.
You went from being a millionaire to going to clean toilets?
For 85 cents an hour.
Wow.
And you know, the interesting thing about it is the principle my father taught me, he never complained about it. I complained. I was like, you know, I was pissed. And he never, ever showed any emotion. All he would say to us forever and ever, and it came to be a big part of my life at one time. He was like, son, in life, you got no control whether you're rich or poor. And I'm like, no shit. Whether you're healthy or sick, dead or alive, the only thing you have control in life is your word. And he was like a broken record, Dame, over and over again. But that became so ingrained in me that to jump ahead and I'll come back again, at the age of 23, I laid in the floor of a Panamanian jail being literally tortured to death.
By Noriega?
By Noriega.
Not the rapper, the real Noriega.
Yeah, the real Noriega. And he betrayed us because he worked for the cartel. And, you know, I bled for 5 years every time I took a piss. I passed blood. But I'd rather at that moment in time, this is why series like Griselda irked me or pissed me off because I rather at that point in time die. I had just turned 23. This was April 5th, and I turned 23 February 28th. And I said to myself, I'm gonna die in this son of a bitch before my children or my family has to ever bow their heads in front of any human being because of I decided to become a rat to save my life.
Well, I think you should give a little context because
All right,
he tortured you for a while. And you,
28 days.
So let's get to that. Let's just cut to this. So Noriega got you in the jail.
Yeah.
And he's torturing you. Just tell me what happened there, and then we can get back to the beginning, because we went there.
So what happened is we crashed in Panama. When we crashed...
A plane crash?
A plane crash.
Okay.
We shouldn't have even lived. We should have blown up.
So you were in a plane crash?
Yeah, we had 200 and some odd kilos of cocaine inside. This is 1979.
And you crashed?
And we crashed. We went down at 5,000 feet because both alternators on the plane went out, and we had a bladder inside the airplane to give us range because the airplane came from Bolivia. So I was on my way to Nicaragua because I was business partner with General Somoza, the president of Nicaragua. When we crashed, the pilot said, hey, let's blow this plane with a flare gun. And I'm like, bullshit, $7 million inside the plane. He said, yeah, but we get busted. I said, I don't give a damn. I'll get us out of here. I had just gotten the president of Costa Rica elected. Paid him $1 million to get him elected. And I had tremendous power in Latin America. Well, lo and behold, what ended up happening is the Attorney General came to see me, and when the Attorney General came to see me, I said, look.
Wait, so the plane crashes.
We crashed.
They come and save you, whatever, and
we saved us.
And they find the work.
Yeah, then they find the dope, and we were at a hotel, right? And we came back to the police station to get our passports, and they arrested us. Because when they called Panama City and they gave my name, apparently, according to them, I was the most wanted drug dealer in the world at that time. This is 1979. So the Attorney General comes, and I'm like, look, how much money to get out, how much money to buy the coke back? He's like, Noriega just sold the coke, but $250,000 for you to get out. So we had contingency plans, right? I have people in different parts of the world where they could get me out within 2 days with money. So I'm like, dial this number and give this code, and you'll have the money in 2 days. So he comes, he gets the money, he's like, all right, we're gonna take you to Panama City, and we're gonna rough you up a little bit to make it look good for the DEA. But stick to your story that you had no idea what was inside that airplane. So they take us to Panama City. They line us up in a conference room against the wall, 4 of us, 2 pilots, their boss, and me. And nothing in the room. Probably the room about 15 feet by 20 feet wide, 4 chairs in the back, and they bring this little kid. Damn, this kid must have been 18, 20 years old, maybe 95 pounds soaking wet, naked, handcuffed to his feet, handcuffed to his hands. They slammed him in the floor, and they stuck a broomstick up his ass.
Oh, man.
And blood just splattered all over the place.
Oh, man.
They looked at us and said, we only caught him with 20 pounds of pot. And we had 300 kilos of cocaine. The pilots, 2 big old Georgia boys, broke weak. And they're like, hey, look, here's the deal. Not only George, the biggest drug dealer in America, he just bribed the Attorney General.
They started telling that to you?
No, they told that
on
to
you?
On us, in front of us.
You started telling on you?
Yeah, quick.
So he saw the kid get violated?
Oh, he passed out. There was blood all over the place. They dragged him out.
Just started pointing at you?
The pilot is like,
got it.
Hey,
damn.
We don't want no part of this.
Right.
They didn't give a damn. So they took him apart, they took him away, and they took me and their boss, who was a really stand-up guy. I mean, a hell of a guy, Harold Rosenthal. I mean, when Martin Luther King was in jail in Atlanta, Bobby Kennedy called this guy, who was a bondsman, to get him out. Hell of a man. Anyway, they took us to a dungeon, and that's the mistake they made. They kept him and I together. So we fed off each other. He had been an old revolutionary. You know, I was just a kid. I'm 23 years old. And they began to just torture us day and night. They come and beat you till you pass out. And then when you pass out, when you wake up again, they beat you again.
What were they asking you?
They were asking us, who do you work for? And I mean, Noriega knew, because he worked for us.
Right.
But they wanted us, the DEA was actually ordering the tortures. They wanted us to say, who were our buyers in the United States, you know, our whole infrastructure. And I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I was just going for a ride in that airplane. And
and you're like, I just paid $250 to somebody. Why am I going through this?
well, I think when they told the Attorney General, the only guy that could get me out, now he's on the run himself.
Oh, man.
So they came in, I mean, one time and they had a handcuff to our feet. They had a handcuff to the bars for hours standing up. In the floor, no food for 20 some odd days. Water will come from a dirty spigot, and you try to pass out underneath the spigot so when they open the water, you can drink some. No bathroom, no nothing. And one time...
Rats?
Oh, yeah. As a matter of fact, there was this rat I called Mickey, and I kept looking at somebody. I'm Mickey, if they don't get me out of here pretty soon, I'm going to eat you. We had nothing, man. We had no food or nothing.
So you're like starving.
Oh my God! And then they one time they came with a can of gasoline and just threw it all over us. And then the guy took a cattle prod, you know the cattle prod, and just applied it to my testicles. And I'm telling you, Dane.
With gasoline?
Yeah. Listen, I was tortured a lot in many, many different ways you can imagine, but never in my life I felt pain like that. I mean, your body jumps off the floor and somewhere midair you pass out.
God damn.
And you know, in my fear, the thing about it, after a while, the pain goes away, right? The beatings don't hurt no more. What hurts after a while is your mind starts working on you. And I'm like, we're gonna lose our mind in this son of a bitch.
You were telling somebody was banging their head?
Yeah, and I saw a guy in a bar across from me banging his head and licking the bars, and he had only been there 6 months. And I'm like, I don't want to be a burden to my family. I'd rather just go ahead and die here. And we made up our mind to die.
Why would you rather die than try? Yeah.
So when they came to beat us up, before they came in the cell, I said, hey, I have a message for Noriega. Tell him that if he don't kill me when I get out of here, he knows I got the power to get him. We're gonna get his family, and we're gonna cut him in pieces right in front of him, and then kill him. Now, we knew that would make the son of a bitch kill us, right? I mean, you're threatening his family. This guy's a freaking animal, right? He comes, 2 days later, he comes laughing. Noriega. He looked at me like, why are you threatening me? I didn't put you there, and you paid the wrong guy. I'm like, how much you want? He said, same thing, $250. I said, I paid $250 for 4, we're only 2 now. He said, $250. I gave him the same drill. 3 days later, they came and they put us up against a wall with a fire hydrant, washed all the blood and all the filth off of us. I mean, that was painful. And I'm getting hit with a fire hose. Yeah. And then they took us to the airport, and we were going to go to Costa Rica. He even got us the ticket to Costa Rica. We're at the airport, and all of a sudden, I mean, they let us in there. The police took us to the airport and left. But like 5 minutes later, Interpol came, like 20 agents. Jorge Valdez. I'm like, I don't know who the hell he is.
So you thought you were free, and then all of a sudden...
I thought I'm going to Costa Rica.
And now you're going
to be with my friend who I just got elected president.
After being tortured for 21 days.
Yeah, and they
picked you up, Interpol picked you up.
They took us and threw us like a sack of potatoes on an airplane. They said, you're not going to Costa Rica, you're going to Miami. I got to Miami, and I was charged with heading the largest drug conspiracy in the world. I was given the highest bond in history at that time, $7 million. When a bond was, this is 1979, when a bond is 50, 100,000. They then reduced it to 2 million, told my attorney, tell him when he posted, we'll take the 2 million and put him back in jail and raise the bond. So I couldn't get out no matter what. I had the best attorneys in the world. Spent $1 million in attorney in 1979. And so that was the Panama experience. Then, then I went to trial in Macon, Georgia. I'd never been there in my life. They made up a case and gave me 15 years, which at that time was the highest, case in the federal system. And 1979, I went in for 5 years. I had a blast in the can.
Said you 5 out to 15?
Yeah, because back then, the old law was that if you had not had any criminal past, I mean, I didn't have a traffic ticket, man. I had worked for the federal government for 4 years. All I ever did in my life was go to school full-time at University of Miami and work full-time. And so, yeah, I went to prison, had a blast. But going back,
I mean, compared to being in Noriega's world.
yeah, and then I ran into Noriega in prison.
You ran into him in prison?
Yeah.
What was that like?
So they had him in a cage, actually about like half of this studio, and bars, and it was a cage. It was a cage right there. We're in the yard at the Federal Correctional Institute in Miami. I walked, and he was in there because he turned himself in as a prisoner of war, right? That's the only smart thing this stupid idiot did. He turned himself in with his military uniform. So I walked up to the bar. He had like a queen-size bed, had a treadmill, big TV.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Had a treadmill in his cell?
Yeah. And I looked at him and I'm like, hey, General, you don't look that tough with the monkey outfit you got on. He didn't even acknowledge me.
You think he remembered you?
I don't know. I would imagine because we were the biggest case ever in Panama history. So what ended up happening is, like I said, I worked really, really hard because, you know, I remember one day coming home and I wanted a sandwich for lunch in school so bad. To me, it looked like a Wagyu steak. A friend of mine had a sandwich. And I asked my friend, hey, how do you get that sandwich? He said, well, we get food stamps. What the hell is that? He's like, oh, man, government gives you the stamps and you go buy food. And man, I thought I discovered the America. I couldn't wait to get home, see my dad. My dad come from work. I said, hey, Dad, you know, I've been telling you about my friend. He has a sandwich. And my dad, you know, was one that old mentality. You know, kids were meant to be seen, not to be heard, and didn't talk much. And I said, do you know about, he said, he gets this food stamps, Dad. I said, you know about that? He said, yeah. I said, why don't we get food stamps, Dad? He's like, son, because that's for poor people. I'm like, holy shit, you mean we're not even poor yet? We gotta work our way up to poverty? He's like, no, we ain't poor. We just ain't got no money. That's how he thought. He said, you get up early, work hard, and help feed your family. I was 10. I weighed 70 pounds. And I did. I've been getting up at 5:30 in the morning ever since, all my life, even now that I'm retired. And so my whole deal was, I'm going to graduate early. At the age of 17, I became the youngest employee in the Federal Reserve Bank. And I'm going to graduate early, take a year off, save money, because there was no student loans back then, which, thank God, that's a good thing, because I think that's what created the modern slavery today. I'm going to go to law school, I'm going to be a millionaire by the age of 30. Damn. I didn't do no alcohol. I never smoked a cigarette in my life. I never smoked pot. I never done drugs. I never done nothing in my life. I couldn't tell you back then the difference between cocaine and sugar. And so I did that. And when I'm about to graduate, my accounting professor, he was a partner of Price & Waterhouse in Michigan, came to Miami, did not speak Spanish, and he's like, hey, you want to come work for me? I'm like, what do you mean? I mean, I thought I was really going to have a hell of a future at the Federal Reserve Bank. And he's like, yeah, if you do my Spanish clients, I'll give you a secretary, an office, copy machine, the whole deal. Start your own practice. You know, my dad was very conservative. No, son, you know, you have a great job, you're prestigious, all of that. And my mom is like, you're never going to get nowhere working for somebody. She said, give it a shot. If it fails, you're smart enough, you'll get another job. But if you don't take risk in life, son, you'll never be nobody. And my mom was everything. So I did.
Hey, don't play. They know we don't play.
Well, the first client was a little grocery store in Miami, the little strip joint, not strip, a strip bar, you know, the
strip mall.
A little strip mall. And I walked in there, Dame, this is 1976, August, something like that. I walk in there and I'm like, I see $180, $150, something like that. And I'm like, damn, how did a little grocery store make so much money? I was so naive, I couldn't even imagine what they were doing. They were paying me $1,000 a month to come in 2 to 3 hours every Monday of the month for 4 days. So I'm like, wow, 12 hours. At that time, I was making like $5, and I think minimum wage was like $1.80. So I was like making a lot at the Federal Reserve Bank. I thought I hit a jackpot. I thought I'm on my way to real wealth here. Went by $1,000. Second week, another $85. Now I'm starting getting suspicious. The third week, when I deposited 300 grand in the bank, I'm like, I called them up. I'm like, I need to ask you something. So I grabbed this dusty can of Campbell's soups. I'll never forget. I said, you see this soup? It cost $1. And if we sell it for $3, we make $2 profit. The problem we have here is that I've deposited over $300,000 in 3 weeks, and we haven't bought shit. Where's this money coming from? Man, they looked at me, started laughing. Oh, this is nothing. We're drug dealers.
Just flat out.
And here I am, this nerd kid, straight as a whistle. I ain't cutting no corners. I'm not crossing no line. I don't go to parties where people smoke reefer. I don't do any of that stuff. I'm working for the government. I'm focused, man. I'm like laser. And they're like, hey, we know you work for the government. You know how to open foreign bank accounts? And I said, yeah. I worked for Federal Reserve Bank, and I knew that back then they were like $850 in the Cayman. Well, how much? I just said $10,000. Like nothing, because I was like, I'm not interested. And they're like, we want 3 of them. And I'm like, damn, I'm on my way now, buddy.
In the 70s.
76. I'm 20 years old. A couple months passed by, they introduced me to the main guy. A guy that nobody's ever seen. He's gonna be seen in my documentary. 95 years old today.
Right now he's alive?
He's alive today.
Oh, wow.
And he's the founder of the group that became known as the Medellin drug cartel. Now, let me tell you this. I haven't said this publicly, but there was no such thing as a Medellin drug cartel. That's all bullshit. Medellin drug cartel was a name. The closest thing to the Medellin drug cartel was us at the beginning, and I'll tell you how that happened. But that was a name that the gringos gave to 4 groups, big organizations in Medellin, because in life, if you can create one common enemy, then you got a target, right? But recently, a few years ago, I found an article where Jorge Ochoa, one of those 3-4 members of what Americans call the Medellin cartel, said same thing I said. There was nothing. Everybody had their own organization. They had their own planes, their own accountant, their own lawyer, their own hitman, their own distribution. And yeah, every once in a while, I work with Pablo. I let Pablo come in my routes.
Pablo Escobar.
Yeah, Pablo Escobar and all that, but...
So, well, can't just say I worked with Pablo and just breeze through that. So, what do you mean you worked with Pablo?
Okay, so this is 1970. So this group, Manuel Garces and 3 other gentlemen, were the original founders of what became the Medellin drug cartel. They were the most powerful people in all of Colombia, all of Medellin. When Pablo Escobar didn't even exist back then. He was still stealing tombstones. Okay? So for one thing so I can bring you into contact with these people, so they asked me to open a shipping company for them. They wanted to bring in bananas, which later on I found out was bullshit. They wanted to bring in cocaine. We bought a ship and all that. And we ended up having a lot of companies. We had an airline company. We had construction companies. We had my godfather, Manuel, who I he owned the largest emerald mines in Colombia, the largest coal mine in Colombia. One of the richest men, or if not the richest man in Colombia.
We all gonna hustle to the break of dawn. We all gonna hustle to the break of dawn.
In 1977, beginning of 77, they're like, I go to a meeting in Medellin to tell him how the whole remodeling of the ship is coming. And he's like, I want you to handle all my operations in the United States. And I'm like, what does it mean? He says, everything. All my distribution, everything. He said, you're young, you're smart. I just felt I could make you my right-hand man. And I'm like, dude, at this time I'm handling all their money, right? I'm opening foreign bank accounts all over the world. I'm friends with ministers of finance, Liechtenstein, Switzerland, Grand Cayman, Tortola.
And you're doing all this from Miami?
From Miami. I'm flying all over the world. I just turned 21. I said, Manuel.
So at 21, the plug in Colombia says, I want to give you all of my operations
in the U.S. And at that time, they weren't doing what we ended up creating.
Right.
But I looked at them, I'm like, I don't even know the difference between cocaine and sand and cotton and sugar. He's like, you'll figure it out.
We all gonna hustle to the break of dawn. We all gonna hustle to the break of dawn.
He said, by the way, there's a load coming in 8 days. How do you, who the frick I sell this shit to? How do I get it? Where do I store it? How do I transport it? What do I do? Well, within 6 months, I became U.S. head of all operations. And I was making, at that time, between $1 million and $3 million a month in 1977. And we're bringing in anywhere between 600 and 800 kilos a month right through Miami International Airport. So when I see, hey, I watch them all. I watched Narcos, the first one.
Well, you were telling me how Pablo used to work for you.
So then, yeah, at that time, Pablo didn't even exist. He was still stealing tombstones in Colombia. So he started, the way Pablo got started, and here's another thing, contrary to a lot of people's belief, Pablo was not the richest. Pablo was not the most powerful man in Colombia. He was the most violent. No doubt. He had no scruples. He didn't give a shit about anybody. He loved his family, I'll tell you that much. But the way Pablo started was, see, Colombia did not produce any cocaine in the 70s.
Right.
All the cocaine that came in a base form was from Bolivia.
That's right, Narcos.
And from Peru and Bolivia. And then it would be crystallized in Colombia. So Pablo started going to Peru and bringing it over to Colombia for different people, from my godfather and others that were involved.
He was going to pick it up for them.
Yeah, and then he started to send coke in people's routes. Right, there was different people started to bring in, and then he started to get power, and then he would go to you and say, Dame, I want your route, and you give it to me, I'm gonna kill you. Didn't give a shit about anybody.
So that's how he used to work for you? He used to do the route for y'all?
So in reality, he never did any route. What ended up happening is when we started to have our own, when he came later on, because we started in 1977. Okay, so let's go back. I started in 77 to 1980. In 79, I get arrested. I'm still running operations until I go to trial and make it in 80. That's why when you're seeing Cocaine Cowboys and the prosecutor says, there's 2 ways to get rich in life. You work hard or you get lucky. Sal and Willie got lucky that George Valdez got arrested and handed him the keys to the kingdom. Right? So I gave him the whole operation, and they became very, very big. I didn't even know Pablo at that time. Never even heard of him in my life. Never heard of anybody but this original group. So I go to prison till 85, and then in that period, 82, 83, 84, Pablo became very, very powerful. I got out in 85, 84 I got out, after 5 years. And when I get out, I go back just as powerful as ever before. And because some of the people at that time, a lot of people knew that I got tortured, never ratted anybody. And when I came out, it was like, hey, and I still had all my clients in California, which is where I used to sell most of my stuff, California and New York. That's when I started working with Pablo.
Black guns rolled up. Click, click.
You gotta have problems. You gotta have the ability to untie knots. See, some people hear about problems and they panic, they get scared. That's not boss. We superheroes over here. We the black guns. When you tell us problems, we go, line them up, we shut them down. Line them up, we shut them down. Line them up, shut them down. Like I said, to be a boss, it means to be fearless. It means you look for the smoke. It means you control the narrative. You don't pay me, I pay you. You take nothing from me, I take from you. And the only way to be great is to deal with those problems and look forward to them. Brace your face. It's easier when you get punched, but you always gotta punch back. I love those problems. Line them shits up so I can shut them down.
I didn't borrow Daniels. I didn't borrow shit. Don't watch him out, bro.
Get the narrative right. I lent Daniels $2 million. He didn't pay me back for 10 years. And when he finally did, they jumped on it. And I was like, yo, pay it back with that. All right, don't get it twisted, I'm a boss. Never call me broke. Line 'em up, we shut 'em down. Line 'em up, we shut 'em down. Line 'em up, shut 'em down. Line 'em up, we shut 'em down. You got a problem, we beat 'em down. We shut 'em down. Line 'em up, shut 'em down. Now we are the black guns, click, click, and we shoot those bullets. Within our bullets is knowledge. So if you have some bubblegum shit, we coming right through your chest. We don't give a if you got a vest. Dumb shit is no Preno over here. Negative shit is no Preno over here. Being bullied is no Preno over here. We bully the bully. We oppress the oppressor. We unapologetic about it. We change the narrative.
Mr. Dash to you.
Finish my question.
Mr. Dash to you. They call me, address me as the man I am. His shirt is offensive. I hate that collar.
That's noted. Okay.
It's bothering me. I hate that sweater.
Let's move on.
How could he buy that sweater and come wear that here?
You can ask him after.
All in his ears. It's ridiculous. And expect me to focus.
If we're gonna get him on a technicality, he won't be able to come because of a warrant, so I'll do it in New York. And now I'm right in front of you.
He's sweating like a clown. Scared.
Line 'em up, we shut 'em down. You got a problem, we'll beat you down. You wanna with me, I've been around. Line 'em up, shut 'em down. All I need is a fair one, but none of you know fair. You better not. Go get your little brother, and your bigger brother, and your other brother. But 20 lanes can't do nothing to want that fair. That fights to play the game honorably. We win fair over here. We want that smoke. Line 'em up. We shut 'em down. Black orange.